But the going into a regular mall, they were looking at the cars with the little mirrors, you know, and yeah, they had the M16s, and then you go through a screening door to go into a shop. So it's a whole different lifestyle. But I walked away thinking how naive we all are in America. Really interesting.
We
but
just really don't even
not
have
to
to think
you know,
about it.
not to go on about that.
Well, I just wanted to touch, these are really the two serious subjects, because you just came back from Bangladesh and that World Vision documentary just aired. And that seemed, again, we know poverty exists, we see it on television, but actually being there is something that not a whole lot of people
No, not a lot of people go to Bangladesh, that's for sure. I think
or
that's
see
why
families like Binna's family.
Yeah. There's so much that you didn't see that was framed out because of economy, you know, the subject. But there was women holding these babies who were so seriously deformed, you cannot believe that nobody's done anything about it. But like there was this one tiny little boy in Lady's Arms, and he had like what I call a double yolk eye. He had like two eyeballs, one on top of the other, so he couldn't close his eye because there was yet another sort of eyeball sticking out. There is so much poison in the earth from arsenic. It's naturally occurring, and because any place where it floods a lot, lots of heavy metals, like Katrina's brought this all up in Louisiana, brings up a lot of heavy metals from underneath the ground, and they've had the worst case of mass poisoning in recorded history. Where, like, millions of people have so much arsenic in them. They're actually developing some kind of immunity to a lot of things, but notwithstanding, it causes terrible, terrible deformities, whatever the hell is going on in their environment. And nobody's going to do anything about this. Even if they could, the people are like, you get the sense of everybody's job is just to get through the next 12 hours. So every child has a job, whether they're paid for it at the brickyards or not. Everybody has a job. You've got to be, if you have a cow, you better be feeding that cow, or you're looking for grasses to feed your family. That's the salad, is just what you can find on the ground. Somebody's got to go catch a fish. Everybody's working all the time just to get through the next 24 hours. And so for a mother or somebody to have to be looking after a child who's deformed or has no hope of ever contributing to the family, it's a huge waste of resources for the survival of that family. So I got the feeling like it was just like, please, Allah, you know, when Allah wills it, take this child, because there's no life for the kid and there's no life for us.
There's nothing I can do.
Yeah, there's nothing anyone can do for us, which isn't exactly true, because those schemes by the NGOs like World Vision, I've seen that they do work quite amazing and very empowering to a community, but they do not have a mindset where the universe will hold them up. There's no trust there's no understanding across a huge community, because there's no social welfare, there's no sense of entitlement. You're entitled to nothing but what's right in front of you.
So different.
Yeah.
Well, and you were just recently in New Orleans again, right?
Yeah, we went back for Thanksgiving, and yeah, it's a big old.
What?
I mean, Thanksgiving was November, December, January, February. We're in February. It's 4 months later. They still haven't touched a twig there.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, I obviously the Red Cross is disappointing everyone. What about Habitat for Humanity? Are they helping?
They're going down there. Yeah,
they are.
We have some people at the convention who are going down there. Part of the problem, I think, is those heavy metals. There's crazy levels of arsenic. Is it boron? I can't list what's there, but it's now lying as a thick sort of dust on everything. So stirring it up is a problem. It's part
So it's not
of
as if the house just fell down and you could come in and build it up. It's the land that they're building on and all the debris that's there. It's actually finding a place to build it. And do you still own that land? And is the land going to be flooded? I mean, this is like a catch-22.
Yes,
they're trying to figure it out, but in the meantime, the families are still there.
They are, but
or
see,
they can be, right?
Our house gets Donna. She's homeless from New Orleans, and they've got Mardi Gras coming up, and they're trying to make a really big party out of it, and all the floats are showing up this year. But the residents the former residents who are now living in and around, like Baton Rouge and all all over the country actually, are going, well, so what, we still don't have houses.
Yeah, really.
It's
to be celebrated.
Yeah, it's a
It seems
tough
like
thing.
the businesses, the bigger businesses, I don't know what I'm talking about, but the bigger businesses would be benefiting from jazz festival and Mardi Gras as opposed to
Hotels.
people.
Right,
who
well,
are
that's why
in the
everybody's been
neighborhoods.
kicked out of the hotels to
Right,
make money
yeah.
for the paying,
Yeah.
to bring in,
Oh, okay, so they actually are.
To support the
People
restaurants.
leave the hotels.
people are having to leave, yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow, it's hard.
And you can see why they want some revenue, for God's sake.
Oh, sure.
You get that as well. It's
Yeah,
just,
exactly.
but
Yikes.
at a human cost, you know.
Well, that's what I was
People-
wondering is, what organizations are truly out there helping, and they're having difficulty as well. Have communities having a hard time if they clean the sludge first.
Like this person, Lily Duke, that we found, I think the help is going on for survival. And I think that they can't quite there's no plan for rebuilding. So the help that's going on is from Habitat or from people cleaning out houses, and that it's really day-to-day survival that
Sounds
groups
like
are
Bangladesh,
helping.
didn't
Like I
it?
say, this lady
It's
lives.
so similar.
Yeah.
I saw a lot of similarities. And it's just about the human condition. It's about how human behavior, how humans behave under incredible stress.
Yeah.
And it's like every man for himself. And
I would think that those community development areas, which is what World Vision sets up. Like I say, when you donate
Area
the money,
development.
they don't give the money to that child, they give it to a community development
Right.
area, which then does things for the village in terms of the water. That's kind of what is needing to be going on in New Orleans right now until somebody can figure out how to rebuild the city. And that's a government
that's really
thing.
interesting. Yeah, you're right. What
So
what
it's-
happens in
and
the case of
World
World
Vision
Vision
is
is
in there.
that
They're in control.
a community the leaders of a community have to come and say, please help us. We're motivated. We need to do this, this, and this. Help us help ourselves. That's what they don't come in and just endow you with money, say, there you go,
Right.
spend it, or we'll do it for you, because that doesn't give them any sense of ownership or pride over whatever the project is.
Responsibility, too.
And sense of responsibility. That's right. It doesn't educate people in how to help themselves, how to build a well and maintain it. And if they put in their own blood, sweat, and tears into a project, they will protect that road. They will.
Sure.
They will help keep certain things.
We want a
clear.
school, we'll build it, we've got a teacher, we've got students, then World Vision can give them money to make the physical things a reality.
That's right. But they have to put in all the care.
Yeah. That's interesting.
Speaking of children, you had your second child right after Xena ended. And I wonder if there was any conflict within you between having another child and setting off on the career after Xena. Did you have to do any balancing in your life at that point about?
Well, the career just went away. That's what happens when you have a kid. Your career vanishes. And you've got to be okay with that and know that you still exist even though you're not in the magazines or on television. Yeah, it forces you to be a human being first and foremost instead of an actress. It's a good thing.
I'm laughing because I'm trying to balance Miles, birth classes, and then finishing my film, and it's insane. It's crazy. But I want to finish my film before the baby comes because
Right.
I know, forget it, I'm definitely taking
Right, after.
what I've been considering my work time, taking all that off, so. But it's really interesting though. But yeah, your values change.
Because you said at the convention that the pregnancy was a bit of a surprise, and you wondered how having another child was going to fit into your life when you had so many plans about movie making. So you consciously had to think, shall I have this child, shall I not? And you also mentioned that the trip to Israel played a part in your decision.
Well, I wouldn't say shall I have this child or shall I not, but how do I fit it in with what I had goals for me doing? I don't know. How did Israel fit in? It's such a personal. It was such a personal journey that it's like.
It's so personal. In fact, I
I don't want to talk about it.
Perfectly legitimate answer.
Yeah.
I never know.
Yeah, no.
You just gotta
Yeah.
breathe, man. Stop
Yeah.
trying to control the outcome of everything.
God, yeah.
And
It was such a surprise. Yeah.
Yeah, certainly.
So she's,
Just
you know.
do not plan in life, eh?
I know.
And they're just meant to happen. This child could never happen except in that
It
moment.
was such a gift. It's been amazing because
Yeah.
it was such a journey for myself, for my boyfriend, for Miles, for Steve, for all of us, because we are like this sort of interesting family unit that's developing. And it's just made everyone sort of grow in a whole new way. And so when you first hear you're pregnant, you think, oh my God, what? And then I realized it's been an incredible journey. So, but Israel, the thing about Israel is that it's such a beautiful spiritual place that you realize you look outside of your own situation into other people's turmoil and war and survival, and then looking up to God because of it to look for help and assistance and guidance. That just sort of put me on the right path. To go, okay, take it in stride. I breathe every day, and I'm so incredibly blessed. I have nothing to worry about. I'm so incredibly blessed, and as long as I just keep thankful that it all seems to work out much better than I ever had anticipated,
That's right. You cannot. You can't force like the glory of life to happen. It happens when you just give over.
Yeah, let go. And yeah. I guess when you talk about control, it's funny because with your career, you want to have ideas of stepping stones and to be where you're going to be at a certain time, especially with planning movies and things. There are stages of development, but yeah, you learn to let all that go.
You just said turn it over, and there's a country song that's out that's popular now. I think the phrase is Jesus take the wheel or something like that. And you've been mentioning God a fair amount recently.
I never heard you do that before. You're becoming a God botherer.
Well, the thing is, it's interesting. I've been looking back on the whole God bother.
Bothering a guy.
It's a real Kiwi saying it.
Well, it's funny because New Zealand had a strong influence on me in my spirituality, which is funny, but not in the way that you would think. Because coming up from the South, it's all about Jesus, and everything. And Christianity is very strong. I was sort of fortunate, I think, that my mother didn't push that on me, so I was not thinking that the only way I would be a good person is if I was saved by Christ, So I grew up knowing that's not exactly the truth, and my Jewish friends are just as wonderful as my Christian friends. So, but then going to New Zealand, I didn't find myself that there's a strong sense of Christianity like there is in the South. Do you know what I mean?
Nowhere has it quite like in the South.
Yeah, well, it was interesting though, but it was funny. So I found that I steered more towards believing that you create your own fate, that you drive your own destiny, and I sort of found that conflicting with the idea that God handles it all, which is how I was sort of raised. So I found throughout the 6 years, I pulled probably more away from God, and then coming back to America, going through so many changes that I've been going through the last few years, that it's back to grassroots. It's like, okay, you got to help me here, and it's God, and yeah. So I think it's sort of been interesting for me to come back around.
Does a higher power come in handy? Is that any relationship to the spirituality or the philosophy of yoga that you've been talking to me about?
Philosophy.
Oh.
I've been doing a philosophy course just to see where, because it's one of the oldest philosophical schools of thought. So I just want to see where where some of the origins of human belief first started.
No, not religious belief so much. It's not that slant.